two videos that I feel may be helpful that are like public and not like unlisted on the Abuse Evidence channels that revolve around this comment right here are I think the opening channel video about what to do if you're being abused or if you're an abused kid or something like that, which honestly should really just say being abused in general, which could go into the whole 18 obsession and how like a lot of people are made to feel like as you get older the abuse ends and like eventually things change, but it all really depends. Like most people never get out their abusive family systems at any age. A lot end up locked up, driven insane, which I can edit in that picture of my older scapegoat sister if I can find it. It's on like I think 2 other videos, or being unaliving themselves, different things like that from the situation. And like due to cycles and how things are, like a lot of people really never get out. People are made to feel like if you just hold on and keep holding on and holding on, if that's even possible, till like I don't know, just for years and years, and eventually like things necessarily change. But I mean, they definitely can if you get out, but it's still like there isn't really like support systems and all that stuff. And it's just a lot of stuff like things don't. Well, hold up. I don't know how to put it. Like as I mentioned before, when I was in Cali, I met this lady who was like she was 26, but she's like 28 now, and she escaped her abuse situation at 17, although she had quote-unquote friends to couch surf with, which there's a lot of stuff with that, because really that means you're living with your parents, unless you're living with some choma, of course. And that's often how things will go with that. Because there's only people that are really willing to quote-unquote help people. I mean, if you're desperate enough for all that, but it's not worth it, if you ask me. Hold up, wait a minute. No. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, but it's like, due to racial stuff also with that situation, since then, she's ended up in all types of like abusive labor trap type situations. Of course, homelessness, because that's how I met her in the first place. Well, actually, no, it's not. When I first met her, I didn't even know she was homeless. I met her behind this Let Me Help You lunatic lady that I was forced around. Because of course, people like this that make comments like this will force you around risky, dangerous people that will quote unquote help you. Because when you tell them there is no help, you have to save yourself. They're like, oh, don't say that. There's help out there. There's not help for anybody of any age. But like really, there's only systems put in place to keep people in bad situations and even worse in their situation, make them a statistic, experiment on them, etc., etc. There's no help out there for anybody, even for like the most basic situation. I mean, shoot, if I'm trying to think of something, I don't know, because I don't want to like sit around trying to make up hypotheticals, but even in the most like basic situation, there is no help. You save yourself. But wait a minute, hold up. Crap. Dang it. Okay. But I'm just gonna read this first before I like go on the rant. If you need help, please talk to an adult you trust. But when I was younger, about 12, I was having family issues and really wanted to run away. But that sparked my whole hobbies throughout the years. Like I really got into lightweight backpacking, like Appalachian Trail hiker videos and bushcraft. So it sparked my love for the outdoors now. And me personally, I've always liked them outside, but that's kind of besides the point. And I'm working on 2 books, one being 4 kids running away across country. I feel like if you didn't have the guts to do it and you don't have the guts to do it, don't even write a book about it. Because like it's probably gonna be some like, especially if it's supposed to like actually give advice, it's probably about to not really have like any realistic examples in it about like how things really go and how you really have to do things. And of course, this person is the usual positive Pollyanna abuse enabler, not even abuse enabler, just positive Pollyanna abuse escapee hater. The types of people that chase you around talking about how there's help and get help and different stuff like that that's not realistic. And then when you talk about how it's not realistic, they tell you, oh, you must just have like a lot of trauma from being out here. Like I've been out here for 35 years getting beaten in the head with baseball bats, and actually none of that stuff has happened to me. I mean, of course, people are always gonna have crazy, stupid stuff to say, but that's just how people are, and that's gonna happen when you're around people anyway. But as far as like something actually being done to me, no. But that's besides the point. But it's still like people just like they try to make things about me being out here, but it's like everything I learned way before I was out here. Being out here did completely prove things that I already knew. Well, I mean, it continued to prove things that had already been proven to me years and years and years ago. But everything I really needed to learn, I learned before I was out here, which is honestly a good thing. But it's like most people aren't willing to leave their family systems or just any abuse situation. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, as I always say, everybody's situation is different. So sometimes maybe you're in a really locked down situation with cameras everywhere, you're like locked in a room or something, or your abusers are rich and it's really hard to leave, whether they're related to you or not. Sometimes your situation may not be worth leaving. And like, I don't know if that was the case for this person, but overall, people who are brave and aren't punks and are really, really willing to actually leave their situation and don't sit around lying to themselves and playing games with themselves, don't want to hear stuff like this. I'm in the process of saving myself. I've been left. Honestly, it was kind of a good minute ago at this point. So hearing stuff like this, I mean, it was bad in the situation, it was annoying in the situation, but hearing stuff like this now is still annoying. It's really annoying when people come to you talking about help and there's help and this person would do this and that place does that. That's especially annoying to hear once you're already in the process of saving yourself and you've already escaped your bad situation. And of course, like I already said, it's really bad to hear in the situation. Like, crap, like just reading this made me remember a comment from during the Abuse Evidence channels with the stuff that was happening to me and other people, but mostly me, of course, because it was my channels, but also things that were happening to other people, which of course some of those people aren't even alive anymore because quote unquote there was help and they were getting help. So there's that's the help for you. But anywho, it reminds me of this one comment where this lady was like, do you need help? And I'm not gonna lie, she's not the only one that said that, but a specific person comes to mind. And then I was like, I don't remember what I said, but I did reply and they never said anything back. They may have not gotten a notification. Then of course there's gonna be the majority of people that are like, well, you know, well pretty much to summarize before I like try to really remember things word for word. People that'll try to like make the dog and the pet's the victim and the pets are the ones that need help, screw everybody else. Which I actually go over those screenshots in a couple of videos, but of course my video where I go over should you even record abuse evidence. And honestly, no. If you want to record the abuse evidence to like look back over and once you escape to like remember why you got out and like how horrible the situation was and the constant torture and to push yourself to keep going once you're out and you're like struggling or things are kind of like going a little drifty when you're out here, then yeah. But as far as like believing that there's going to be some court case, believing that somebody's going to go over the videos with you and be like, yeah, I'm going to help you, none of that stuff is real. And at the end of the day, if somebody isn't willing to adopt you themselves and let you live with them, there's nothing else that they will do. There's nothing, I mean, what else is there to do? Like, it doesn't even make sense. Like, there is nowhere else for you to go. But yeah, like stuff like that. And then it's like, if anyone's here, which I doubt it from the Abuse Evidence channels, or like you just have your own situation that you're in or we're in, you already know how this stuff goes. Like, I know, like, in the beginning, I used to commonly talk about how there's no help for anybody under 18 because of the 18 obsession, but that's not even that true either. It's like when there's youth resources and you're in a place with, like, youth resources, they pretty much hold you in this bubble where the only thing you can do is go to a group home till 25, 26. And then you typically have to pay to live at the group home as well. That's another funny part about that. Or there's just, like, there's still nothing because you're a federal minor till 26, and then for the people, like the lady I mentioned earlier, back in Cali, when you are 26 plus, then you're told, well, we can't help you because you're not a senior citizen and you don't have any like, health issue, which really, of course, in Cali, the quote-unquote health issues was what I like to call the parts of the white addict projection. So pretty much, most of the quote-unquote white people were all on substances, multiple different substances, and so, like, they had a lot of issues from being on the substances, so, like, they were able to get disability, some of them, or at least get a disability put on paper that literally came from the current addiction. And so due to that, and some of them, or a lot of them being senior citizens, they were able to, like, get disability housing and senior housing and stuff like that. Not most of them, but some of them were. Most of them still never got housing, of course. But yeah, so it's like then even when you're 30 and stuff, you're still getting told, oh, well, you're not old enough for this, you're not old enough for that. I did have somebody tell me, though, that, like, the people that were telling me that I'm not, like, old enough to sign up for certain things were lying. Like, for example, you can sign up for a voucher at any age, and then, like, in fact, it makes sense, though, because I've heard of, like, foster kids doing that. And, like, how sometimes by the time they're, like, 20-something, well, okay, wait a minute, they sign up under 18, or at 18, and by the time they're 20-something, they're sometimes at the top of the waiting list and stuff like that. But that typically doesn't work out either, to be honest. But I've heard of it before, so it makes sense. With that lady back in Oregon was telling me about how I was kind of being lied to. And then other people say, like, I remember back when I was in Cali, because they kept saying that I was 11, regardless of me telling them that I'm not 11, which is really annoying, but they kept saying there's help for people your age. And, like, one of the people that I quote who said that all the time, like a lot of people did, but who said it like a lot, was this lady who literally had been sex trafficked, almost organ trafficked, and on a whole bunch of substances because of being in foster care. And at the end of the day, as I always say, you can't just walk into CPS custody. You don't want to do that anyways. Anybody with common sense doesn't want to be in CPS custody. The reason why people think they want to be in CPS custody is because they have this adoption story going in their head. CPS is not an adoption agency. Being in CPS custody is being trafficked and being homeless all at the same time. And also being drugged as well. And other things that go along with the cash for kids system and human cash cow systems in the institution, Ramco SRA. But overall, you don't want to go in there unless you have this adoption story going in your head that, like, you're going to be like not Little Orphan Annie. I never watched that one actually, but the one from whatever year that was, the quote-unquote black one. You have this adoption story going, you're going to be adopted by some rich person that's actually going to like you, and then you're going to, like, be able to eat, and none of that stuff is real. None of that stuff is real. And typically rich and nice don't even go hand in hand together. And, like, honestly, this comment reminds me of one of my recent videos, and right now the thumbnail says my name is No, but I was gonna change it because I forgot to put in that other positive Pollyanna abuse enabler quote from that dude that was like, well, it's not like being homeless is illegal. And it's like, not only is being homeless never legal, but that is a very wild comment to make, especially with all the regime, NACIS, B system stuff that's rolling out right now with the laws and all that. That is a very, like, insane comment to make. And it just shows that, like, people like this and people like that dude living like this la la land where they lie to themselves, and it's like, and I don't know about this person's situation. I assume that, like, I don't know if they're still in it or not, but I assume that if they are still in it, they're still too scared to leave. Or maybe there's a chance their situation wasn't serious enough. But, like, people like this, and I'm not trying to say their situation wasn't serious enough, I don't know, but it's like, I have nothing nice to say to you because you just live in a la la land, and at the end of the day, you may forget that some people have real life stuff going on. Honestly, shoot, doesn't everybody, but some people seem to act like real life doesn't exist, and, like, people don't have real stuff going on. But it's like, and then just like I said in my reply, it's like, people like this just make me mad. People who say stuff like this are why I make videos, or one of the reasons anyways. Oh, the jail. Okay, LOL, somebody came and asked me if I know where the jailhouse is. And it's like, shit, I don't know where anything is, to be honest. But what was I saying? Oh, yeah. I think I already said that part. So, like, oh, no, I remember what I was saying. But I don't make videos for people like you. I make videos for the people who are being told bullcrap by people like you. And these are also the same types of people that when you, like, try to go get the quote-unquote help and it doesn't work out, they're like, well, the reason it didn't work is because you didn't do this right, or you didn't do that. In fact, no, hold up. Because I forgot. I still have that one clip of that one lady. And she mentioned how I had 600 videos. Although I'm not going to lie, by that point I probably had way more than 600. But by the time CPS snitched about the videos and got some of them deleted, I had over 1,950 plus. Okay, actually, before I do that, I forgot I never finished reading the comment. I always do that crap. Because I just get so annoyed, especially in situations like this. Like, this rhetoric is it's just so played out. It's like, I don't even know how people are still saying stuff like this and still living in this type of bullcrap world of lies, la la land, where they can even still allow themselves to type stuff like this or let this type of stuff come out their mouth. And of course, like, after you escape the situation, if you end up, like, full-blown visibly homeless, I guess I could say, you're going to hear different variations of stuff like this from people all the time about quote-unquote help. And it's like, it pretty much never stops. Although, there's also the other side to talk about, like, how street kids aren't seen as kids. So, once you're out here, you're seen as grown pretty much. Not even just in, like, the sexual predator sense, but that's, like, I mean, that's going to happen really in any situation, but in the sense that, like, once you're out here, you are the quote-unquote adult, whatever that means, and people are just going to say, you're grown, get a job. Which I would advise trying to get one before you leave your situation if possible. Although, of course, most people aren't allowed to do that. But if you, like, have transportation and stuff like that, that would actually be way easier to do, depending on your situation at least, before you leave. Now, before I left, I was extremely sick, way sicker than, like, now, because I've gotten better since working on my health. I couldn't digest food. My blood sugar was probably lower than 50, because when I started checking it last November, it would be in the 50s, and then I was like, oh, now stuff that actually makes sense. The doctors knew that, but of course, I was sick because of them, and they didn't want to do anything because they didn't care. Because as I've talked about before, they kept claiming that they felt like I was just being insane and sleeping around, and what else was it, being starved, and a whole bunch of other crazy stuff, to be honest, that mostly just revolved around insults to me, accusing me of being pregnant. But no, I just obviously had diabetes, but went into more of a type 1 category. But anywho, they didn't care about any of that. But I mean, at the end of the day, what are they going to do anyways if they're not going to take me home with them? And I wouldn't trust any medical professional anyways. But what was I going to say with that? Crap, hold up. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what that. One being 4 kids, running across the country, being able, hold up, this is in the way. Wait a minute. Being able to carry what you need and create things in the woods. Honestly, if you have health issues, especially if you're just one person, there's a good chance you're never really going to be able to carry what you need, not how you want to. I had notebooks full of tips and tricks when I was going to run. How do you have a notebook full of... See, this is that kind of fairy tale mindset. Now, a lot of people do, like, leave even before 12. But it's like, you were in too much of a la la land mindset, like you still are obviously from this comment, but then as well. Then the idea that your cousins are going to leave with you. I always tell people don't partner seek, and that partner seeking is honestly unrealistic. Even if it's a family member, nobody's going to help leave your abuse situation with you. And if you're in like a high level trap, or even a lower level like cash or kid system, usual trap situation, I mean, I've heard of things like 30 plus foster kids running away together, but stuff like that is really rare. It's hard to get people who are being made to feel scared because, of course, if they're found, they're going to be locked up, charged, drugged, essayed, thrown in a padded room or something. So, of course, they're going to be scared to escape. But it's hard to even, like, get people together in situations like that to say, okay, we're going to do this and we're going to do that and we're going to escape. Especially because, like, kind of like with the Clay Brewer situation, it'll often revolve around Clay Brewer and the Allie Carter lady. Sometimes it'll revolve around having to do a lot of, I guess I could say, self-defense type stuff because you're going to have to, like, move somebody out of the way to be able to get out of your trap situation or whatever. And that's not always possible. And like, if you do get caught, because you're probably not going to have transportation and all types of stuff, I mean, you are at risk of, like, being locked up the rest of your life because that's just how the systems work. They're not for anybody. They're not for you, especially if you're in like this type of situation. But it's like, it's definitely not easy, but people aren't going to leave with you. You just got to get that in your head. Anybody that's sitting around waiting for somebody to help them leave their abuse or leave their abuse situation with them, they're typically never going to get out. And if they do, they're going to run off with some risky person. But I talk about that in my playlist about escaping abuse situations. But anywho, being able to, when I tricks went unargued. It was fun to imagine it. You never did run away, but I still get that urge to want to run away. So you're trapped in the matrix and the fear of the unknown. But I tell you, it is very dangerous out there. It's dangerous everywhere, and it's definitely more dangerous in the previous situation. And I even put a video from the Nova girl in the comment section of one of these videos I made recently about a similar topic, where she talks about how her fight or flight mode was worse than her on previous situation. And yeah, definitely, I would have been passed away if I wouldn't have left. Like, I was probably having blood sugars in the 40s, and all types of stuff was going on. Aside from like the chaos, like just the fact that I'm screwing this up, but the fact that my health was like as bad as it was, and I couldn't even digest food and was being gaslit about it from all corners. From all angles. I don't know how the saying goes. It just wouldn't have ended well. And of course, it was a miracle that I was even still alive, even up to the point where I got like really sick and went in like type 1 category and dropped down 80 pounds at 14 and still be gaslit about that by everybody. But even before then, I was sick, which of course, obviously, because I got to the point of even dropping down to 80 pounds and not being able to digest food anymore. But yeah, and before that, I had the high blood sugars and all that from the iatrogenic metabolic issues. The city does have easy supplies. That's why homeless set up tent cities close to stores. Now, I'm assuming that they live in Cali or something, or maybe like somewhere out in the Midwest. Like, well, maybe not in the Midwest. I'm thinking like Arizona, but that's not even really. Well, I mean, I guess kind of, but that's more so West Coast. But like tent cities, that's not really like a thing in some places. That's not even really tolerated in like most red states. Then as far as close to stores and like there's more supplies, that's not necessarily that true. That's why I'm wondering if like they live in Cali or something, because like that's not really that true at all. Then the supplies thing, I don't know if they mean like stealing stuff from like a store, stealing like pallets from like behind the store, but that you can't really do stuff like that in like most places. I'm not gonna lie, if that's what they mean by that. You can blend in big cities, but I tell you, I wouldn't go to a big city. And then it's like, I don't know what I mentioned, but I did mention in this specific video that they commented under, but in the playlist where I talk about this, I always tell people to never go to the city. And honestly, your number one risk is always going to be police, whether you're laying low or not. It's always going to be police and other types of law enforcement, especially ICE. Honestly, ICE is the bigger risk than even like police these days. I've had so many run-ins with ICE since 2023. And I remember people were talking about ICE back in 2022 and stuff in Texas and Border Patrol, and how that put abuse escapees at a lot of risk. Also, the thing is, honestly, as I was saying back then, them deporting you can honestly be a good thing, but the reality is that there's a bigger chance of you being thrown in some work camp or just being unalive than you being deported. But if you are deported, you're not like thrown in a prison. It can honestly benefit you escaping your situation, especially if it's like a really bad one and your abusers are rich or they're like high-level trafficking families or something like that. And then I'd say small town. I advise this as well, but something that people don't talk about is all the racial stuff. That can put you in a lot of risk in like a lot of small towns. Like I said, like when I went to ball, that whole situation where I was told I wasn't allowed to be there pretty much, and it went actually pretty decent. It went better than like most of my run-ins with law enforcement. They just told me I wasn't allowed in that town, and they dropped me off at the Greyhound station. Although I went there for a reason, not to like stay there, but that went how that went. And of course, when I was in Cali, like even random people. In fact, I don't think the police ever told me this, but other random people would tell me and others every single day to go back to Mexico. So like, that's a big thing that people don't talk about. It kind of reminds me of when I'm the Nova girl, the street kid one. Well, not the dark skin one, but. She was in one video. She talked about people like to try to give like vagabond or nomad tips or something like that. But some places are only safe if you're white or if you're, I don't know what those other terms mean. All this cisgender stuff. I don't really know what all that means. But as far as the racial side, yeah, people don't talk about that. And she talked about how Portland is a pretty racist place. Although one of the things about it though is that like in places like Portland, due to the classism, people wouldn't even want to be caught like talking to like a homeless person or something like that. So like the sexual harassment and stuff, the essay, all that was it was pretty much non-existent for me because like most people wouldn't even make eye contact with me. And honestly, that's better to be honest. I'd rather be in a place where like people ignore me while also not calling the police on me than be in a place where like there's like white guys chasing me around telling me that I'm their African princess and all that type of stuff. Because that did happen back in Cali once with that one dude named Henry. That went how that went. But did I finish reading this? Big city, town. But seriously, if you're in a bad situation, tell people. That is so. Just like I say in my open channel video about advice for abused people. The people that don't tell anybody, because everybody already knows for one. Nobody gives a crap. Nobody's going to save you. You save yourself. Telling people will do nothing but have people ghosting you, disappearing. That quote from the girl from the 7-Day Friendship, which I think I saw a video about that. In fact, I do on maybe like the part 4 or 5. Maybe in the part, no, hold up. No, the part 4 channel, I think. The girl from the 7-Day Friendship that was like, your situation is too much for me and stresses me out because I don't know how to help. And honestly, that was the nicest way I've ever had anybody put it. And she was only like, she was maybe 14, I guess, something like that. And she was actually like the one respectful person ever in the situation. Like the fully grown adults, like they had never said it in like respectful way. Everybody else just says that's none of my business. I don't care. Be good. Follow rules and direction. The usual ageism, pro-abuse stuff. The you're beautiful, keep smiling lady. Which no, I'm getting confused for a second. She did say that as well. But I think in the screenshot that's actually using the thumbnail of that video, she said I think she did say you're pretty, just be good. Me and my kids were scared, so we had to leave. But stuff like that, pretty much. And those are all like nice ways that I've had those things put to me. I remember in the little 3 months of school I went to that last time, the principal, which I had videoed this at that point, before CPS got something deleted, but he was like, this is on the part 4 of the part 3 channel, and he said, I'm sick of you and your mom, so I'm gonna let her do whatever she wants to, stuff like that. Which that's a long story to be honest, which I don't remember. I don't remember a lot of that situation. I just remember like the bare minimum of my mom getting me put in the Jim Crow self-confined place, and then me having to be abused by those staff. And like I always say, because I almost forgot this, all mandated reporters are cash for kid system staff, or human cash cow system staff if you're like older. Their job is to help abuse you and to abuse you themselves, and to make you a statistic, experiment on you, do MK Ultra on you, traffic you, SA you, because they get their own kicks out of the stuff that they get to do, drug you, whatever in the world. None of their jobs are to help you, but anywho, now I can go to the video. Okay, so I'm about to try and find the video. Okay, that was actually pretty quick.
I don't know if you can hear it, but I want to tell you that I think you should really call CPS because you have like 600, 500, I don't know, it's a lot of videos, a lot of evidence. I think you got this, and you will be sent to a better home because I have people who know.
And none of this was true, and eventually this person stopped talking to me, which I identify these types of people now as also let me help you lunatics, but they stopped talking to me because I guess they felt like, quote unquote, I wasn't doing what I needed to do because I was too scared to really get help. People like this also make comments like this video is about, and there's nothing nice I had to say to them, and of course they're just gonna say you're just rude and traumatized and paranoid and you have a bad view on the world and people. Honestly, people that say stuff like that to me in person, and most of the time really anywhere, I don't even give them the time of day. They're not even worth responding to. They live in their own la-la land, and they're the type of people that either get stuck in their abuse situations or enable and they're a flying monkey to other people's abuse situations, which typically after you're stuck for a while you're going to become an enabler, because an enabler was typically abused by the abuser before themselves, or just abused before themselves in general. The flying monkeys are typically random people that fall under what could also be called the Lucifer effect. Not that enablers aren't doing that as well. And the mindset is, it's better you than me, especially if you're the scapegoat.
They have people working there, and they will help you, okay? It's not just you alone. We are here helping you, okay? And you have your siblings as well. You have to think about them. Do you want?
And then, of course, trying to, like, pretty much just about guilt trip me and, like, throw my siblings and whether they get out on me. And it's like, for one, I was the scapegoat. They didn't really like me anyways like that. And then it's like, if they want out, they have to get out. In fact, maybe I could go back and find that video of the mandated reporter, which this is actually, it's unlisted though, but it's on the channel this is going to be on. And I shouldn't have did it, but I was really bored and I called her even though I shouldn't have. And really, she's not supposed to talk to me anymore anyways, because actually even before that, because the whole situation, the way it went is that my mom had told the therapist that she was going to slap them and slap some other people because she thought they called CPS, even though it was some lady off of Reddit from Canada that would see my posts and like on Reddit back then, and even my abuse evidence videos as well. But yeah, anywho, and so it was so funny though, because I remember everybody was telling me about how horrible the quote unquote therapist or counselor, whatever she was, and it was like, I remember when she was like, I'm not scared of your mom's threats, and then when my mom threatened to slap everybody, that was enough to like get her to disappear. That was really funny. But anywho, I called her, like, this was months back, maybe even a year ago at this point, and told her about me escaping, and she was like, that's wonderful, and your siblings are gonna run away too. And it's like, those people don't care. Their job is to just profit off of your situation and even worsen it, and then make you feel like you're the bad guy and tell you that you're retarded, bad, crazy, slow. Although luckily this lady didn't like do all that stuff. Even though she was a therapist, she was actually like one of the decent mental health professionals, and that's why I liked her, even though everybody else kept telling me that the only reason I liked her is because I was comparing bad to worse. And I just was so excited about being in a place in GA where people actually like admitted the situation, because like I always say, in NC no one ever really said anything. In GA the mandated reporters would admit the situation. Like, I didn't have to say anything. They already knew what was going on. I guess maybe they just saw it a lot and they I don't know, they just admitted it. Like, they didn't like do the whole mind game stuff with me like that, but they still didn't do anything because at the end of the day they don't care and it doesn't affect them.
Put them through this again over and over every year, every day? Or you want...
And you notice she
Okay.
said, do I want to put them through this? I'm not putting them through Jack. If they want to leave, they can leave right now. But at the end of the day, I don't know what else to say about that. And that's another thing as well. You got to focus on you a lot of the time. Like, it kind of reminds me of the Allie Carter thing. People expect her to, one, go run back somewhere and look for people. And that's not even something, that's not even like, I mean, maybe somebody could do it, but like a that's not a one-person job. And then it's like with all the trauma she already has, and people expect her to like go run back and look for this person, look for that person, and figure out if this person who was being trafficked is still alive or not, and go save. I mean, that's like, it sounds nice, but like, that's not that simple, to be honest. Now, of course, like in a situation with siblings, I mean, yeah, that could be a little easier, but I mean, I would get reported to the police, and at the end of the day, they don't want to leave, so it's like, and they don't like me anyway, so I don't know what she expected me to do.
With your siblings as well, you have to think about them. Do you want to put them through this again over and over every year, every day? Or you want them to be free with you?
Being in CPS custody, being trafficked and homeless is not being free. And also, another thing about it, it's not likely that everybody would have got removed. Of course, it wasn't likely for anybody to get removed at all, obviously, since I'm sitting here making this. But everybody doesn't always get removed, and then it's like, you don't just go to another home. Like with the situation and with all the like Munch House and Cash for Kids system stuff, we would have been thrown in institutions, or no, if we all would have got removed, my younger sister probably would have been in some dude's house getting sodomized, or in some hospital getting sodomized. Me and my brother would have just got thrown in some prison somewhere. That's how that would have went down.
Think about it.
I remember this when this social worker was looking at my LinkedIn, and I hurried up and blocked her. I deleted it now though, but I'm trying to find something else. In fact, this right here, this is actually a good example. On this thumbnail, the police don't care once you're 15 plus, because as I always say, which I actually learned from somebody else, the Astro dude, if you're 14 or younger, typically the FBI automatically gets involved, but if you're older than that, then it's whatever. And sometimes if you're 12 and like, I think it was Virginia, West Virginia, then they don't care. Especially if you like tried to escape your situation in previous times, the police, they don't really care to look. Not that they look anyways, but your real risk is let me help you lunatics. People that chase you around talking about this help and that help, and this person cares, and if you go here, they're gonna throw you in a condo and different weird crazy stuff. That's not even like how life ever works. And actually, I got the toxic positivity Pollyanna term from Dr. Romney some years ago, although she calls it a positive Pollyanna narc enabler, but I don't believe in all the psych label stuff, and I could just say positive Pollyanna abuse enabler, just in general. It's kind of funny though. I remember at 14 I was just binge watching Dr. Romney videos, but I'm trying to, and then I forget about the conservatorship part, which I don't know how, because I made a video like a couple months ago about the Astro dude, who supposedly unalived himself, but nobody really knows what happened to him, which is a long story to be honest. But in a video that actually I'm about to upload about geronophiles and paraphilias, I threw in the screenshot from when he told me that I needed to make sure I escape my situation before I end up like that Britney lady. And then it's like when I look over stuff like this, like the whole they won't do anything because the situation is too complex, it's like none of that stuff was actually true. They won't do anything because nobody's there to do anything. Like all this stuff was a lot of fairy tales and games and stuff like that. This even reminds me of something else that somebody said to me, which I actually have a video about somewhere on here, and she was like, all the adults around you are playing with you. Honestly, society, everybody's playing with everybody, to be honest. What did that dude say? Everybody's being used unless you're useless. It's all the same, really. It's just the same stuff, and it's all applied to every situation. In fact, some of these things are messages from the counselor, but it's like they all give this like idea that like they're gonna do this and they're gonna do that, but they're never gonna really help. They're just gonna do a lot of talk. But like these messages right here from the counselor lady I mentioned earlier, which this is actually the one counselor. I think I ever had like 2 or 3, but this was the only one I was ever actually allowed to talk to. Like I had other ones, but I was never allowed to talk to them, which is really funny, because it's like, what's the point? Okay, so this is what I was looking for, I think. So if I skim through some of this stuff, I think this is one of them. I really wish I still had that crazy argument video when my dad started manifesting Leviathan and he was saying he had been alive for over 5,000 years. I just wish I still had it and that they wouldn't have compromised my main email, because I just wanted to make a video one day about like just the spiritual side of that. Like, that's the one video I really wish I still had. And it's kind of funny because I still have a lot of stuff left, but like the things that I really wanted to keep, I don't have. This may reveal some confidential stuff, so I don't know, but pretty much like I had went through some stuff and had realized like how long my older neighbor sister, mom's boyfriend, had actually been in my email going through stuff and like pretending that they weren't. And actually it's a really funny story because I'm having flashbacks actually. That's a really long funny story of like how they had been going through stuff and trying to delete things. This was after they had deleted stuff from my main email, because one of the things about it is that what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, even after I couldn't log in anymore, like it was still on my phone, so like I could still see where like all the missing videos were in the Google Photos. And I remember when I had asked the social worker why she told my dad about the abuse evidence videos when he was literally in like the first however many videos, and she was like, oh, I didn't know. And that's funny though, because I remember when I was 14, and I don't know who reported what. Oh yeah, I remember now. My dad had that girlfriend, the same girlfriend from the thumbnail. And wait a minute. This same girlfriend right here actually, which I still had the video when my dad said, he started cursing me out because I said I was hungry, or he started like saying weird manipulative word salad stuff. And this girlfriend right here was actually the one that had made the CPS report, or one of them at that time when I was 14, because he wouldn't let me eat, and like she was over there. No, actually we were at her house some of those times and he wouldn't let me eat anything, and then she had made that report, but she lied about her name and all types of stuff. And for whatever reason, ever since I was 8, I don't know, like the social workers are just like feminists who hate kids and like probably eat kids, but they definitely will always accuse you of making their report, even though they know who made their report. But for whatever reason, the social workers will always come out and be like, yeah, why'd you make that report? And it's like, you can't make your own report, to be honest. So when that happened, I was like, honestly, it's a good thing the social worker cursed me out and told me I needed to be drugged and watched me cry and all types of stuff while she was saying, I don't remember what she was saying exactly, but oh yeah. In fact, this is a lady, I think about this pretty often, who was like, it's not illegal for your parents to not feed you if you're old enough to feed yourself. And it's like, that wasn't even the issue in the situation. But anywho, that lady. So I was like, it's a good thing she didn't look at the abuse evidence videos, because if she did, she would have just snitched about them and got them deleted. And I knew that if another case ever happened, that's what would happen. And of course, I was right. 2/17/22. Wait a minute. But yeah, like they were going through my stuff, which I was never really allowed to have a phone, but like I bought my own phone. So but the original reason I wasn't allowed to the first time I moved in with my mom at 10 was because she was worried about me like telling my dad stuff, because of course, as these types of abusers do, they like to like play hero and act like they're gonna save you. So like when one abuser does something, the other abuser will be like, yeah, she shouldn't be doing that, and she needs to stop doing this, and I'm gonna do this and that. None of that stuff is real. One of the things you have to realize is that, in fact, like that lady said in that one video that I have re-uploaded in like 2022, the one who was like, I grew up in a cult, and I was getting essayed, and I was made to feel bad because I was getting essayed, because the only thing that mattered to people is that I wasn't a virgin anymore, quote unquote. And she was like, nobody loves you, but nobody loved me either. You have to accept that. Nobody gives a crap about you. If you can't accept that, you're going to be in a lot of bad situations, especially in these types of situations. But yeah, they were screenshotting just different like abuse things. In fact, right here at the top, there's a screenshot that my older neighbor sister emailed to herself from my email on my phone into my mom of one of the, what was it called, a witness report. So a lady who was trafficked, she was born into a high level J through W trafficking family, And when she escaped, she ended up like working in some type of program for foster kids, to make a long story short, and for homeless youth in Canada or something like that. And I ended up meeting her, and that was on Reddit though. And she had made some witness reports about my abuse evidence videos and even other things, because in fact that was a lady that one time my older neighbor sister had smear campaigned me and had she had messaged the lady a lot of lies about me, and I have a video about that, so I don't know where that's at though. It's somewhere on here, but yeah, so at the top that's the PDF from the witness report, which I still have that witness report actually, that I was supposed to use in a court case that of course wouldn't ever happen and will never happen. It wouldn't even matter. It's like, okay, you go to court, but you still have to live with your abuser. In fact, like one girl who went viral because her friends, her quote-unquote friends, kept saying she was lying about her dad being abusive. He was obviously very dangerous, and then she decided to record it, and he was trying to unalive her and the dog. She ended up having to go back and live with her dad because, of course, there is nowhere else for you to go. Unless you're about to set up a tent and camp somewhere, there is nowhere else to go. It may pop up. I don't even know if it's up anymore. I think like last year, so they took it down. Wait a minute. I think this was it. And also, anybody who says you're lying or if that was happening, you would have been dead or just go to police. They're not your friends, but as I always say, these people are either stupid or purposely lying to you. Yeah, this was it. I think they removed the video though, like in recent time, pretty much. But I'm pretty sure this was the one. And of course, they only care about the whole I'm unaliving the dog thing. People don't even really care about the person. I think this was a video. I used to have a video of him picking the dog up and punching it in the face, but this wasn't even our dog. This was a dog that my older neighbor sister who we lived with was supposed to be watching for somebody. Obviously she wasn't, but people were telling me I needed to save the dog, and when the dog videos came out, they're like, yeah, this is actually really bad and stuff like that, which just shows how people are. But it's like, that's not my dog for me to be sending it off somewhere. Then I send it off somewhere, then I'm going to be in more danger. And the dog eventually got sold to some dude who owns a farm, and then he had a wife and kids, and so the dog ended up having his happy ending, but I guess it screwed everybody else. Hold up. I guess maybe it was like somewhere around here.
Alright, watch this. Hey! Get down.
Dog, man. But that's abusive though, Steve. You can't abuse my dog.
Abuse them, Steve.
No, I ain't gonna lie. They trying to have you bad. Cause you abusing the dog like over a sense of beating him. Cause they came out there and that crutch dog broke. I was kind of pissed off to see that crutch broke. And they said you beat the dog with it and broke beating the dog. That like kind of, I ain't gonna lie, that had me upset. Cause like that was excessive. That's fear. That's why red man be don't know what to do. He's technically afraid.
Right now, hold up. So, how society sees youth, they're really the people that fall under the bad, crazy, slow, retarded, brown, etc. categories as objects. But they're looking for. Although I'm not gonna lie, this video right here also goes into the whole nobody cares thing, to be honest. Also the Mark Layton one, and the one where I go over the Lovely Peaches thing. But yeah, this one. But anywho. Okay, crap, now that that's working. Oh, wait a minute. And then it's like one of the unfortunate things about when you talk about these types of issues, probably even more so in person, but even online, it's like, of course, you're going to attract what I like to call the religious and white male atheists who want to project their false made-up philosophies onto you, but also people that just see you as like another quote-unquote victim complex whiny baby who's talking about how quote-unquote horrible your life is. And that's like, that's not even how I see things, and that's not even what I'm trying to do. I make these videos for one, myself, but also people I know who are in these types of situations. But unfortunately, there's just going to be the people that do this little white dude stuff to summarize it, or people that come with the whole let me help you lunatic, there's help out there, bullcrap lie stuff. But it's somewhere around here though. Crap, wait a minute, hold up. I'm not gonna lie though, that whole this is the face of poverty thing was kind of funny. And that just goes into how things are though. Now of course, the chief is Ice Age, so of course he's gonna be like, well, Ice Age with a lot of trauma obviously that he's projecting, he's trying to make himself feel better. But it's like, yeah, he's what he is, but a lot of people are like that, and he's a good example of how people really see people that they feel like are in quote unquote bad situations. People just see you as somebody who's a whiny baby that needs to get your stuff together. And then, but then there's always the people in La La Land that do the whole there's help out there stuff. Nobody gives a crap about any of that. Crap, as a street kid, people aren't gonna want you around, or just homeless in general. Like a lot of people, there's just so much I can say about that. It's like, wait a minute, I thought it was in here. Okay, no, I don't know what was going through my head actually. I don't know, I thought it was there because like the whole anti-humanism, pro-animal stuff goes into how people don't care about other people and the NACIS stuff, but that is not where that is. It's somewhere in here, but I gotta look for it. Okay, yeah, I couldn't find it there either. So, the dog being terrified. This isn't even the worst one. This right here, this is what I was looking for. And then in the video that I used to have before the CPS thing, where like the dog was picked up and choked and kicked and thrown, and the other ones where I mentioned him being tased and all that stuff, that's the only thing anybody actually cared about. I hope the situation has changed for the better for the dog. And it's like, And this, like, it's just so crazy that people are really out there talking about some, if you go here, you go there, you tell somebody this or tell somebody that, somebody's gonna do this. And the people, when you admit that none of that stuff is real, people try to make you feel like you're just bitter or paranoid, or you're just a quote-unquote narc, because people use that term for anything, and you just see people in a bad light. Don't listen to those people, because if you start getting out of reality like they are, when things really get tough again for them, or if they continue to be tough, they're gonna become bitter because they've been lying to themselves about dumb stuff, because they have an expectation for somebody to do something for them when that's not real. Which I actually go over, and I think my playlist titled well, of course the Let Me Help You Lunatic one, but the Why You Can't Be Desperate one, this right here, no one is coming to save you. And I'm not gonna lie, I still listen to I have realized that, like, as far as like a lot of the deliverance type stuff that I was listening to throughout the years, it was a lot of honestly victim blamey, or more so blamey type stuff that may not even really apply to me, just people talking junk about poor and homeless people. But still, stuff like this though, it's the reality. Cody Sanchez, no one is coming to save you. You want a better life, go build it. Don't tell me what you want. Tell me what you were willing to give up to get what you want. That is the missing. I can't really see that, not gonna lie, but that's the reality. All this, help that, and that stuff is real. So the whole there is no safe place for people with abusive family or no family goes hand in hand with this as well. Although I'd say this person has like a pretty decent ending. Or I guess current situation the last time I checked. And that's another thing as well. A lot of people do the mental illness obsession American bullcrap, or the you just want attention stuff as well. That's another thing to watch out for, especially like in the earlier parts of your trauma situation. Like if you have like trauma symptoms, you may be labeled off, especially in like elementary, as like the quote unquote attention seeker. So, but I mean, if you continue to cry out for help and stuff, you're always gonna be labeled off as attention seeking or annoying, and people are gonna get away from you. And I mentioned that in the opening channel video, because the people that actually end up really having, thinking I guess that they have quote unquote friends and like things go better for them, and they don't end up by themselves, or the people that don't tell people what they have going on. People don't want to hear any of that. And another thing, wait, is this even recording? Another thing about these punkified people that push out this fear-mongering rhetoric about leaving abuse situations. If you have the right mindset, getting out the abuse situation is the safe and good part. People try to make you feel like that's the bad part because you're visibly homeless or whatever in the world. That's the good part. That's the safer part. That's the not constant fight or flight torture part. That's the freedom part. The previous situation where all the stuff was really going down, it's funny that people don't consider that the bad part. Like when you're in the situation, people tell you that's just how things go. Because as I always mention, it's funny how when you're in the situation, nobody wants to help. And people say that's just what happens and that's just what you deserve and those different things like that. But once you escape the situation and save yourself, all of a sudden, people come out the woodworks talking about some help and I'll help you and I want to help you and they'll help you and this place will help you. Why was there no help when you really needed help? Because none of it's real anyways. This isn't the part that I'm really looking for, but these are the types of games that people will play. And honestly, I'd really rather for her to think that I'm not alive anymore. I really regret that I ever even reached back out. And the reason I did was because I was trying to get them to help me with something, which is why the title is what it is. But of course they didn't want to do that because, for one, they're scared that if they give me my medical records, I'm just going to sue them. So she went on this long little stupid little fake hero rant.
With me, I want to know how you're doing. I want to know if you're doing okay. You were one of those people that I really wanted to help. I think you knew that though, didn't you?
Yeah. I'm lying like heck. Because it's like, these people just play a lot of games. And by the way, if I didn't already say this, because I don't really explain myself well, this is the one counselor, therapist, whatever she was, lady that I mentioned earlier that I was actually allowed to talk to out of the maybe 2 or 3. And she was talking about some, I'm not scared of your mom's threats. And then when my mom called up there and said she was going to slap her and something about slapping the other people that worked there and all that other stuff, and said that they couldn't talk to me anymore because she thought they called CPS, that was it. Mandated reporters are cash for kids system staff, and yeah, this one was actually one of the lenient ones. In fact, I would say a lot of them in GA were, but it was only because they would actually admit that my situation was what it was. They still wouldn't do anything anyways, because I mean, at the end of the day, their job is to abuse and help abuse, and what are they going to do other than take me home? Okay, so some other let me help a lunatic person tried to ask me something. She kind of reminds me of the Miss S lady, but not going to go into
Were one of those people that I really wanted to help. I think you knew that, though, didn't you?
Yeah.
I believe too. When we were working together, DFAC finally came and took
And got it, and then they... And that's something else I noticed when I looked back over this and I really remembered what actually went down. And I was like, wait a minute. She acted as if they made the report. She was even literally saying, well, she did originally say she was going to make a report and like she was going to talk to the social worker, but she didn't. In fact, when I asked her to, when somebody else asked her to, she was like, well, I can't talk to... She told the other person, which was the lady who made the witness report, well, I can't talk to another person about me. And that's all she said about that. And then she told me she wasn't allowed to talk to me anymore. Before she wasn't allowed to talk to me anymore, before all that went down, she was like, yeah, I'm gonna eventually report, but then she was like, I don't really want to. And when the social worker thing happened, she said she was gonna talk to her first, but then she was like, well, you're the one, you need to advocate for yourself, and the case is going on, and whatever's happening, you need to tell your social worker, and stuff like that. It kind of reminds me of that one lady that my mom had got me to talk to that was I don't know what she was, but she has something to do with me eventually, well, with my mom eventually getting me put in the Jim Crow self-confined placement. But anywho, I remember she was like, if you tell me about this and that type of stuff, I have to report it because I'm a mandated reporter. And then eventually she did the usual manipulative stuff for people that Let Me Help You lunatics do, where they pretend they want to help and they're like, just tell me all this info and all that info. And then when I finally sent her the videos, because I was fed up with the situation, she pretty much got really distant. I remember this one time, I really wish I saw that video, or the text messages. She sent me some, it's like she was drunk or something, because none of it made sense, and it was like some weird, it wasn't even word salad, it's like I think she was like drunk or high on something, but she sent me some crazy mess. And I remember I showed it to somebody who was advocating for me at the time, and they were like, did your counselor say this? I think that's what they said. Yeah, did the counselor say this? Because this is like word salad, like they're on drugs or something. I was like, no, this wasn't the counselor, this was some other quote unquote mandated reporter. But yeah, that's another long story. In fact, I thought I made another video about the whole Miss Park situation, because that word salad thing, that was Miss Parks. But anywho, okay. Yeah, they snitched about the videos and got like a lot of channels deleted. And then after that, that's when my mom went back to the autism, well, not went back to the autism clinic. She went for the first time to, wait. I'm trying to find the sibling thing, though. Okay, I still haven't found the part that I'm actually looking for. But here's some other mandated reporter mess where, like, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of that other lady that worked at the school that was on the campus of the Jim Crow self-confined placement, quote unquote, because the staff were always saying it wasn't a part of the school, which is another story, and so that's why you weren't allowed in the school. But realistically, what I really found out is that they were lying because they were worried about somebody reporting them to like the higher ups. But anywho, I still have those videos actually. I still have all of those because that started at the Part 4 channel on up, I'm pretty sure. But what was I? Oh yeah, that reminds me of this reminds me of that situation with that office lady, the guidance counselor, and how like somebody made me talk to her. It was actually some student that went to school in the building, which of course I kept telling her I was going to get in trouble for talking to her, for talking to the other students, because we were isolated, we weren't allowed to talk to the other kids or even to be in the building, and we weren't allowed to talk to the other staff because the Jim Crow self-confined staff were scared that we were going to report them to somebody. that they were going to quote-unquote get in trouble, the usual abuser paranoia that somebody gives a crap when nobody does. So I did end up getting in trouble for talking to the guidance counselor. And they secretly tried to suspend me without any higher-ups and the people they worked for knowing, because of me talking to the guidance counselor, because they were worried about me reporting them. And so anywho, I was telling her about how do I even summarize that situation? Pretty much just different stuff about my mom lying on me. And then one of the things that I said was really funny to her, because I mean, it was funny, I'm not gonna lie. And then she like burst out laughing and like kind of spit her water out her mouth. And I mean, yeah, it was funny. And like I'm good at like helping with stuff with humor, because my dad was too and all that. But it's like, it's still annoying how the mandated reporters, your situation is just like a bunch of jokes and it's a laughing stock. And that's still the bare minimum, and then being nice compared to the usual full-blown abuser, mandated reporter, cash for kids system staff, human cash cow system staff.
Where you how I'll give you a week. Call me back and report to me and let me know how it's going. Okay.
No, that's not
to
right.
Record people and you. All right, I'm going to very creative. You did some pretty amazing stuff. I don't know if you, like, later on, if you wanted to write this and make your life a movie, it would be fascinating what you were able to accomplish and do for yourself. It would be, with the videos, all of it. It's pretty amazing. So, I think you need to start thinking about those skills, how resourceful you are with those skills, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Just listening to this just makes me mad, to be honest.
They didn't really do a lot for you.
Yeah, and that was really risky, though, because that let my relatives know that I even had videos.
Pretty amazing. So, I think you need to start thinking about those skills, how resourceful you are with those skills, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, that might be something that you could do. They didn't really do a lot for you.
Yeah, and that was really risky, though, because that let my relatives know that I even had videos, and then that made the whole situation go downhill more.
It made the whole situation go downhill. Exactly.
I guess it couldn't really go anymore
And then
downhill.
the social worker, she did want to do something, but her supervisor wouldn't let her, so she ended up letting it be known that she was going to resign after that.
I forgot all about that part. I do used to mention this pretty often. I forgot all about that. Even though she did the snitching and all that, she was so upset about my whole situation, she did resign. And it's like, these people are why I say, when I was in GA compared to NC, like, these staff, these quote-unquote mandated reporters did actually admit the situation was what it was. But at the end of the day, they work for the cash for kids system and the human cash cow systems. Their job is Munchausen. Their job is to create an issue that isn't already there.
Yeah, she called me.
Really?
Yeah, she called me. Yeah, because she really cared about you, really.
I don't know, though. Because I swear the social worker had told me that she called this lady and she didn't answer. And then when I asked her about her quote-unquote advocating for me, she claimed she would do so much. She just gave a little word salad bullcrap response, just like that Miss Parks lady.
Wanted to help you. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, there is nowhere for you to go. She doesn't have anywhere she could put me regardless, so it's like, I would just be in the human traffic organization, locked up somewhere still, and it wouldn't have made a difference. Your best bet is always going to be saving yourself, and it's actually safer as well.
Yeah, and then that went how that went. They made my mom do mandatory therapy, and she spent the whole mandatory therapy session talking about me and about how I just had video issues and made it seem like I was recording them using the bathroom or something. She was making it sound weird.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That's not what I'm looking for, though. But just like that guy said back on Reddit, I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure, you need to be focused more on getting out than proving you're sane, which really you don't have to prove anything or prove that you're sane. All that, you're retarded, you're crazy, you're slow, you're poor, all that stuff, that's all mind games. People are just playing with you.
What about when I used to have the video evidence and all that stuff of her lying and all the other stuff?
I think your video evidence was great, but all your video evidence showed was abuse. It didn't necessarily show.
And then, this is actually funny. People always say the whole get help thing, but it's like, this is supposed to be the help. And when I say the get help, I mean like the American mental illness obsession insult form of get help, not the other let me help you lunatic types.
But then it just ended up being some Jim Crow racial self-confined placement for quote-unquote bad black kids.
Oh my gosh. You've been through a lot. I want you to consider getting a therapist.
And it's like, well, shoot, weren't you supposed to be the therapist? It's like, why would I even go for some crazy stuff like that again?
No, you are. You know the best thing you can do for your siblings?
What?
I used to tell you this. Get yourself together. So when they need a place to go, if they ever run away, they can come to you.
I mean, I'm not even allowed to talk to them, though. That's the thing, so I wouldn't even know.
No, just get on social media. They'll find you. When they're ready to escape, they'll find you.
Okay, there it is. That's what I was originally looking for this whole time. Hold up.
No, that's the thing, so I wouldn't even know.
No, just get on social media. They'll
Oops,
find
I think
you.
I slowed it down too much. Wait a minute. Crap. I'm really confused.
When they're ready to escape, they'll find you. Make a TikTok. Have an Instagram. They'll find you when they're ready to find you and when they're ready to escape. And I hope that they will be. But right now, you can take care of them anyway.
And then she's talking about my siblings. And honestly, this is a similar, like, rhetoric to what that lady in the first video was doing with the whole, do you want your siblings to keep going through this, that victim blamey type stuff and trying to, like, make me the hero for people that don't even like me anyways. And it's like, she's still a mandated reporter, so, like, if she wants my siblings in a better situation, she could still, quote-unquote, help and mandate a report and do all that stuff that she should have did. And I think I showed this in the Should You Report Abuse Evidence video, but I went over the whole thing of me trying to get a lawyer. At least I went over one of the lawyer situations. There was also a whole other situation before the other lawyer dude that lady had found somehow, where they told me that they didn't want to face legal repercussions and we had to sneak to go meet them. And it's like, well, shoot, the lawyers and stuff are going to face some legal repercussions. So, yeah. Never let anybody give you the runaround about how there's help here, there's help there, and all that. So, oh, hold up. There's going to be background noise. And I guess people are just going to have to accept that.
It's not no more space. I won't think about the millions of times in the same souls in there. No, I don't.
And this started over, my mom's boyfriend wanted my brother to put his sodas in the refrigerator that he just got. And that's the thing. These types of abusers, they want to have control so bad they'll create situations to find something to get mad at somebody about and to find a reason or a supposed reason to abuse somebody for something.
The tightening of the smack.
And I think it was in the, what was it called? It was in one of the witness reports. I think the one that said I'm not a lawyer, blah 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 blah. I think that's the one where that lady had also mentioned this video. And a couple other videos that I don't have anymore, but she mentioned this one and how my younger sister's laugh was a part of the fine response. And it definitely was. Laughing is definitely a version of the fine response. There's also coping with comedy, although this was definitely like a fine type situation. Because nothing was really funny in the situation.
Get all that bullshit out of there. Put them down. Read what it said. Put that back too. Why are you moving into that? Because millions of times you seen something about this milk, juice and all that stuff yet. Read what it said. Put that back too. Why are you even moving into that? Because millions of times you seen something about this where milk, juice and all that other stuff yet.
This has the Yao Spike food clip. One of the videos in this playlist has a clip. The funny whatever in the world, that's a couple of clips.